get a lot of credit, is Steve Blackman for muscular development. I mean, those guys have done an extraordinary job for years and years and years to promote health, to promote fitness, to promote strength, to promote bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, and all of those kind of things. So the contributions they made is gigantic, and I hail them for that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Raw Online Report. This is a special edition leading up to the Arnold Classic Australia. Just a couple days away here. Australia is almost a full day ahead of me, so what's it already a couple days from now over there? I'm not sure. Anyway, joining me as always, expert commentary and analysis, insights, and all that good stuff, Giles Tiger Thomas.
G'day, mate.
G'day. Did you say g'day?
G'day.
You've been hanging around Lee Priest too much. G'day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be dropping plenty of F-bombs and C-bombs, don't worry.
Yeah, that interview that you did with Lee got a lot of reaction, as I knew it would. You know, you guys are
yeah.
You really.
So, you know, the funny thing is, Ron. You know, we said you're going to edit it.
Yeah.
I've watched it, and the bits that I thought that were the bits that were going to be should be taken out, you've left in. So I'm trying to think what else he was saying that would actually be you know, edited out. So anyway,
I didn't actually have any control. That was all up to John. I left that up to John's discretion. Muscle Papa John Hawley. So whatever he decided was had to go, and everything else stayed. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we start, I need your opinion on something.
Sure.
All right. Now, which one?
Okay. Oh, what the hell? Star Wars? Is that what it says?
No.
I can't tell what the hell that says.
See if this one gives you a clue. And you've got to guess who gave it to us.
Okay. Oh, okay. These are from AJ. Okay, so that's is that the Norwegian flag?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I would go with the flag. Go with the flag. What's that one say? Oh, that says Norway. Wow. Yeah, I gotta say, you guys pulled off. You know, for someone to actually be able to bring this guy out of hiding and into the public eye on it, it was amazing. I mean, I never thought we'd see AJ. I didn't know if he was a fake character or not, like some red-haired 14-year-old kid in his mom's basement here in America, or the real deal. And wow, he is the real deal. It's exactly the way he described himself. Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'm going to talk about it on the on our MD Weekly, Muscle News Weekly on the weekend. But because he said he was messaging me and he said, "Oh, I gave him my phone number," and then he rang me a few nights before, and it was a really bad line. And I thought, okay, because it said that it came up Norway on my phone. I was like, okay, well, that's only one person that could be. I was sat in this office here. I was reading some comics or something. And so he rang. He goes, oh, I'm going to come. And then on the MD forum, I think the day we were leaving, he said, oh, I'm in jail, bro. I've been in jail. I'm not. It's too expensive. The room's costing this much. The flights are too much. And I thought, oh, he is. He's a gimmick. He's a troll. I thought because I was getting all excited about it.
Right.
So anyway, we're driving down to obviously Rosie's show, the Two Bros Pro in London, the Royal Pro, London Pro, and the car phone went, and it came up AJ the Legend, because that's what I put in my phone.
AJ the Legend.
And it was him, and then he came, I'm coming, I'm here, and I was just like, I still didn't believe it.
Right.
So, and this is the bit I don't understand, right? We got to the hotel, and I messaged him, and I said, look, we've just got to the hotel, because I gave him the same hotel details. And about 5 minutes after unpacking, I get this knock at the door, and it was like a boom, boom, and I just thought that can only be one person. Thing is, I don't even know how he got my room number.
Wow.
And he wouldn't tell us, and he goes, don't worry, I know how to find these things. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I opened the door, and there was just this gigantic man. I mean, he was taller than the door frame, and he was wider. He had to duck and walk sideways. He was absolutely colossal with big silver chain. Yeah. He's like silver Michael Jackson clothes.
Wow.
And this all this hair cornrow, you know, like braided hair, and this larger than life character. And it was just, and he just straight away, I've got to film this. I've got to film because I said, come on, say hello to Ron. Yeah, that's when I sent you the video. And yeah, and then he just gave Rosie a hug, and he goes, "I've got presents." So he got us the hats. He gave Rosie a really nice card with "You're a great role model" and all that. He got her a Rosie the Riveter mug.
I saw that.
Yeah, and the 2 hats, and he got some brown Norwegian cheese, which he absolutely loves. And I've told him, "No, you no more cheese now." So
okay.
Anyway, yeah, like I said, we'll talk about it more in the in our R&D show. But
AJ's a whole subject unto himself. I mean, that's
Okay, let's get on to Australia anyway.
Yeah, let's get on to Australia. I mean, usually there's only a couple of the top guys from the Ohio Arnold that go on to Australia because it is a 20-hour flight from the U.S. and you know it's a little smaller in scale in some ways. So I can understand why not everyone goes, but it has been growing, and it's you know, I don't know if this is the second or third year that it's been an Arnold Classic. Do you know? But it was.
I think it's second.
Second, okay. So it's definitely getting bigger and bigger every year, and more prestigious. So this really shows it. Almost all the top guys from Ohio are going to this. So it's going to be a tough show. A lot of times, whoever wins Ohio, they can sort of go over there and get an easy win because they're not going to have too many of the same guys. This time, you know, it's the entire top 6, 7, 8 from Ohio.
It's only Rodriguez that's missing.
Right. So let's start from the top. You know, we saw an amazing match between Dexter and Bonac in Ohio, and they were very close. Do you think it's possible that in 2 weeks' time things could change with their physiques? You know, Dexter for the better. I mean, this is a long trip, and Dexter actually seems to, in the past, he seems to improve when he goes away on these long trips. He gets sharper and fills out. He looks better, whereas, you know, most people not so much. I'm not sure what Bonac's experience is with traveling and that, if it affects him negatively or not. What do you think could happen?
It comes down purely to the amount of experience because, like with Dexter's been a pro now for 19 years. He, like you said, typically he can improve as he goes along, but Bonac typically does fade only very slightly. So, and like I said, he hasn't got the experience that Dexter's got. So, I mean, at the judging at the Arnold in Columbus, the judging kind of Bonac had peaked, and I think he faded for. I said this would happen after the judging, the wrap up.
Yeah.
Dexter tends to. Bonac peaked, and I knew that Dexter could get better, which is exactly what happened. So it seemed quite clear cut at the judging, but I said, look, this could easily swap around by tonight, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So Dexter absolutely could pull ahead of him, absolutely. But yeah, I just, like I said, you know, Dexter looks so good. I mean, there's people saying that there's some atrophy on certain sides. I can't personally see it. I think I need to analyze the photos more. I can't personally see that, like they said, his one arm's bigger. I just don't see it. For me, his physique's good. His physique's as good as it's ever been. I mean, yeah, his legs, I don't know. Did his legs lack a bit of separation at the Arnold? What do you think?
I don't think it was so much a matter of that, as he's never had the deepest separations compared to some people. But you know, I thought Bonac really had him in the legs. He has much fuller development, especially around the knees. He's got that nice outer sweep that Dexter doesn't have to that degree. You know, they were so close. I was looking to really split hairs in the judging and say, what could possibly justify giving Bonac this title over Dexter? And that was pretty much it. The lower body, he just had a little more fuller look. Dexter in the morning or in the judging looked a little flat to me, where he filled out a little bit more for the night show. I mean, they're so close. I think Dexter's fully capable. You know, the thing where he wasn't really controlling his midsection all the time. Those are things that are easy fix. Obviously, if people have been pointing it out to him, they're both so good. I think they're so close. It could, and it's a different set of judges. It's not going to be all the same judges. It's a subjective sport, so we could see Dexter win this one, I think.
Well, regarding the stomach with Dexter, remember George Farrow, when he came in on the wrap-up with us, he said Dexter had I think it was some issue with his stomach about a year ago, and he said his stomach has never been the same since.
Wow.
So he's obviously I mean, that could be anything ranging from food allergies to any sort of colitis or Crohn's or any sort of digestive issues. I know, like, people like Flex Lewis, Rosie's had digestive problems. So, I mean, that stomach, I mean, I got a shot of him at the end, and, you know, he really let it go when he was when they had all the awards were given.
Yeah.
And I was thinking he must have really struggled to keep that in. So, but you know, so he's got to keep that stomach in. I mean, Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. But yeah, going on to go to the next guys, and we'll talk about them.
Well, you know, before rather than go in order of how they place and everything, that's a predictable way to do it. Let's go to the most exciting man in this contest for me, you, and for so many other people, Kevin Leveroni, who you know he came back in 2016 at the Olympia. Upper body from the front looked really good. Back could have been better. Legs were way down. Everyone's been trying to see pictures of his legs, videos of his legs. He has not been putting out pictures because he wants it to be a surprise. He wants, and this is perfect. I'm glad he didn't, because now we all have this anticipation. You know, when this webcast comes on at the ungodly hour, here it does in America, I think like 2 a.m. or something. The first thing I'm waiting to see is Kevin. How's Kevin going to look? I mean, I know how Bonac and Dexter, I just saw them, but Kevin's been training hard. He had the PRP injections in his knees almost 2 years ago, so he's been able to train legs the way he likes to. He's been hitting them 3 times a week or every other day. He claims they're up 3 inches each thigh. And, you know, we've seen the upper body in tank tops on his Instagram and Facebook and all that. He's looking really good. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, how is he going to do against this guy, that guy, that guy, because does it matter? Does it really matter? I don't care. If he's, like I said, he wants to be about 80% of his best. And his best was, you know, arguably at one time the best in the world. He was second in Olympia a few times, and a lot of people preferred his physique over whoever won the Olympia that particular year when he lost. So I'm just waiting to see him pull it off and look that good again. I know you've got to be excited to see Kevin.
Oh, I love Kevin. I mean, Kevin was always my all-time. I think he is actually my all-time favorite bodybuilder. Kevin was, you know, he was inspirational to me when I was 18 years old. I sat down with him at the day after the British Grand Prix, and I was chatting with him, and Pete McGough was there, and I had a photo of Dorian that I'd done from a guest posing, and he was saying, "Oh, why you should write for magazines," and you know, so someone like that who kind of, and then I came home, and then it all kind of started for me. And 23 years later, here I am talking to you. Yeah. You know, so Kevin, there's a real special place in my heart for Kevin. I mean, he's I was there at the 2016 Olympia. We bumped into each other in the corridor at the hotel, and he had like a little, you know, he was with that entourage.
Yes, I saw him with that little entourage.
Yeah, and he came up, and I went, Kevin, and he came up and he gave me a big hug, and I was just like, I fucking love that guy, man. And the fact that he came back, I mean, I laugh at all the negativity, I really do, because you know, he showed up at the 2016 Olympia. Yeah, his legs were down, but the guy had knee problems. He'd ripped his pec again. I mean, he showed up. He didn't pull out. He didn't whine. He didn't put stuff on Instagram saying, "Oh, I've hurt my knee. I've hurt." You know, he kind of just got on with it, suffered. And the thing is, he said he did what he said he was going to do, and I think that's why Flex Wheeler came back. And I think, you know, probably guys later on, like Dexter and people like Levrone now, for guys, because really bodybuilders aren't even hitting their peak till they're 40 anyway now, with the kind of physique you have to have. So for Kevin to come, for me, all Kevin has to do to win, in my mind, in my eyes, to be a winner, is to improve. And I think this is why he's doing it. He wants to improve on what he knew he could have brought to the 2006 Olympia if he hadn't had those injuries. And so if you're saying his legs are up 3 inches and he's, you know, we've seen all the pictures, he's looking, I saw him at the Arnold, he walked on stage, he looked huge. I mean, he had that, he kind of reminded me that around 97 when he was absolutely colossal. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not expecting him to be at his all-time best, but I just, I mean, I was talking to Luke Sandow on the weekend. He was at the Two Bros Pro. He was on the Iron Rebel trade stand. And he was just saying, my God, I can't. I says, how do you feel about knowing you're going to stand on, you know, you're going to be backstage with Kevin Levrone? He says, oh my God. He said, that's one of the reasons I'm really glad I'm doing that show. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to, honestly, part of me wishes I was there just to see Kevin do his last show. Yeah. But, you know, it's like I said, I can get emotional talking about Kevin because, you know, like I said, he's inspired all of us. You know, the Maryland Muscle Machine, the video he did, and 100-pound dumbbell curls in your face. And, you know, guys, I mean, he really is. He's up there with the Ronnies, you know, the Sean Rays. You know, he's a true legend.
Yeah, and I believe he was about 225 at his comeback on stage, which was very light for him. Obviously, you know, the legs clearly was missing some mass there, so that I believe he's going to be somewhere around 250 for this, maybe like high 240s, because, you know, when you dry out and all that, that's going to take some weight away. But he was like, you know, he was over 260 in really good condition a couple weeks ago when we talked. So
that's awesome.
He's definitely going to be improved.
The thing is with Kevin, people really kind of overlook the fact at the 2006 Olympia, he was actually in bloody good condition. You know, the side chest, the side tricep, you know, his rear lats, but there was some good conditioning there. His condition was fantastic. You know, that side chest, I know one of the, is it Vin77 has it as an avatar on the MD forum.
That's right.
And he really, like, his conditioning was good, you know, so, you know, hats off to him, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says something that he uses that as his avatar 2016 when he could have easily done, you know, 1995 or 6 or 7 when Kevin was at his quote-unquote prime. But yeah, Kevin for sure. You know, let's jump ahead. Let's I'm breaking all the rules here. Let's talk about Sando because, you know, we're looking at this. I'm looking at this list of names, and he was not in Ohio. I kind of wish he had been. Looking at these pictures on his Instagram, and you know, I was so impressed with him at the Arnold last year, but he was just not in condition. And the condition, you know, looking at his Instagram now, I hate putting up pictures of him from last year because they don't do him justice compared to what I'm looking at now on his social media. The guy looks just amazing. He looks like he's put on more size in the right places. Shape is just, you know, he's got that weird combination of roundness and thickness and density. And his joints aren't big at all. He's got a great physique, and he's already in so much better condition than he was. You know, he was. I think he beat that condition probably 6 weeks ago. But you've had a chance to actually see him up close and personal. Given this stacked lineup that we have here, we got the top 6 are all coming from Ohio. You know, where do you see him? Do you see him scooting in there and getting past some of these big names?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is with Luke, he's only 29 years old. The thing is, he's come up so fast. I mean, I remember it was a show, our business partner, he runs a show down in Portsmouth, and I remember him being a junior then. I think, God, that's a big fucking junior. And every year that guy has just, you know, like the year it was 2015, he got 6th in the super heavyweights, and I remember just him walking around in the pose down, and he was like a tank, like his traps. It looked like a shell, like a you know, like a turtle shell, like this thickness, like, you know, like Dorian had that, like a sort of swelling on their back where it kind of goes.
Ronnie and Dorian both had those traps like that.
Yeah, we know from the side their back doesn't go straight; it kind of bows out by the traps and that. And he has that, and then he came back the year after 2016, and he won the overall. The thing with Luke is he's improving so fast, and he's very, very smart. He's yeah, like I said, the thing with Luke is he's so brave doing these shows because he did want to do the Arnold in Columbus, Ohio. He really wanted to do it, but they didn't put his name on the invite. So, like I said, he could go and do a smaller show. I mean, he's doing the Indiana, isn't he? In 2 weeks, I think.
I think so, yeah.
But the thing is, he's working with Chris Aceto, and I was talking to, like I said, Luke on Sunday, and Chris said he's very, very happy because Luke. The thing is, Luke at the moment. I was on his podcast with him. It's going up. It's airing tomorrow night, the Size Game.
Yeah.
And he said, I said, how you look? I said on the podcast, I asked him, I said, Luke, how you looking? He says, Giles, I have no idea. he said, I don't. He says, like I've got, you know, those last 4 weeks. He said, I just don't know what I'm looking at. And he says, all I know is Chris Aceto is happy. Very, very happy. He said, so I'm kind of relaxed about it. He says, I'm very kind of, you know, I mean, he was on the trade stand all day on Sunday, and he said he was helping them set up, and he's, you know, he's kind of he's a bit of a breath of fresh air, Luke, you know, and yeah, but yeah, like I said, I just want to see him get some good call out. So if he's stood next to someone like Rowley or those guys, he's pretty much going to know. You know, you're going to be able to get a feel for where he's at. But, you know, there's one thing you can always count on. It's the guys that always improve. And Luke will always improve. Every single year, it's happening. Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at, I pulled up a picture, you know, for Nate's going to put some pictures in here. I pulled up a picture of him from the Arnold last year. And it just does not, like I said, it doesn't do him justice. I went to his Facebook page, profile pictures. Every year you go back, it's like looks like less and less the same person. He's improved that rapidly. Where I would hate to put up a picture of him from 2015 or 2016 because it doesn't give you an accurate idea at all of what this guy looks like. In fact, the last picture I saw of him, that, you know, with the most muscular with the hands together, wow, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But like I said, we have an amazing lineup. Third place at the Ohio Arnold. Last year's Arnold winner, Cedric McMillan, coming back. And Cedric has a couple more weeks to sharpen up. Do you think he needed to sharpen up a little bit?
I thought he was pretty good at the Arnold. I thought he peaked really well. Like I said on the Arnold wrap up in Columbus, the problem areas with Cedric in the past have always been his glutes and his hams, and I thought his glutes and his hams at the Arnold were absolutely shredded. He was dry as anything. Those hamstrings couldn't have been any more detailed. It's impossible. You'd have to tear the skin off or something. With Cedric, I think now it's like you said, the conditioning area, the conditioning issues shifted. Now it's like around the ab area. If his abs are sharp, then he's on no matter what. But I was just really happy he got third at the Arnold, because I didn't want him to be beat by Rowley or Biecki or Puklo, because I just love the package that guy brings. And the thing is, people go on about him being aesthetic and classical, but we saw him at the meet and greet. He's so big.
Oh yeah,
he's huge.
He's 275 or 280 on stage. I mean, that's a big man.
Yeah, people say he's got no legs. It's like, are you kidding me?
No legs.
The guy's yeah. Somebody said that on the forum, and I was like, no legs. Have you seen those legs?
Who are these people? So okay.
I don't know.
And like you saw him in. Was he in San Marino? Did he? He won that show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's quite a trip over there to Italy. So I mean, this is another guy that it seems like travel doesn't do his physique any injustices. He might actually be tighter and sharper than some of these other guys coming over from the States. So
we're going to see Cedric in about 2 weeks. He's coming over to UK to do like a mini UK tour. So we're going down to see him. So because him and Rosie are going to practice this, start rehearsing for this guest posing they're doing later on the year.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
I'm really excited. You and me are big Cedric fans.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to back up just a second. I have to thank you for asking Luke to do a column for MD Print Magazine, which I think should be called The Size Game, unless he has a better idea for it. Certainly, if he wants to call it something else, that's cool. But good job, Giles. So
it was pretty easy.
Yeah, right on.
Do you want to do it? Okay, done.
So going down the line, we had fourth place Rowley. Now, you weren't, and I wasn't really impressed with Rowley's overall condition in Ohio. We both agree he needs to be lighter and tighter like he used to be. 2 weeks isn't a lot of time. If he really wanted to, he could drop. I've seen guys come down 10 or more pounds in 2 weeks when they wanted to. I don't know if he feels that need or if he's going to try to duplicate the same exact condition and fullness and size and weight that he had in Ohio. I guess we're second guessing. What's Rowley going to do? What should he do?
If he's dropped 10 pounds, he could win it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I can't. Like I said, I was obviously. I mean, you can't not be impressed when you look at the size of the guy. I mean, he dwarfed everyone on stage at the Arnold. Like I said, he didn't have much body fat. His glutes were ripped. Everything was but everything just looked soft. The muscle looked soft.
Yeah.
Like I said, the thing is, one thing I've always noticed about this Australian tour, I think it says a lot for how well Tony Doherty looks after the athletes. Sometimes when these athletes travel after the big shows like the Olympia or the Arnold, they usually fade because for a lot of them the issues are, going to a foreign country and, they speak English, but trying to get food and get set up. Right. A lot of the guys go to before it was called the Australian Pro, a lot of these guys end up looking better at the Australia show. And it always shocks me how they would always manage to do it for the Australian. And any other show, they would end up, lucky to come in 90% of how they looked at the Arnold. Remember Kai in 2009 when he won the Arnold. Yep. He won the Arnold and then he went to the Arnold Australia. And for me, that's the best he's ever looked in terms of size and condition. So it really speaks volumes for how well those guys get looked after when they go there. So if Rowley I saw an Instagram video of Rowley, but he was covered up and it was frustrating. I was trying to look at his face and trying to see what was going on. But if he's come down and he's trying to, like he did for Prague, where he tightened up, because he came to me we were at breakfast at the Arnold Europe. The next morning he came up and he went, "Oh, Giles robbed again," and Yeah,
Oh,
that's
boy.
what he said, and I was just like, I said, well, mate, I said, you've got Prague next week. I said, just tighten up, mate. I said, get on the fishing greens. I said, drop it, keep the stomach in, don't overeat. I said, and just tighten up as much as you can. And then he did, and I mean, I'm not saying he took my advice, but he obviously came in tighter, and he won it, and he beat, Baxter and Bonac, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In Prague. So then, like I said, it's not a bad position to be in when all you've got to do is just drop those 10 pounds of, it is probably water and like puffiness or whatever. Maybe he just needs to, because he has to watch his stomach as well. Because when his stomach's flat, like he was at Body Power or Prague in 2016 Body Power or 2017 Prague, when that guy's stomach is flat and he's crisp and harder, I think for me, he's better than Rami. When he did that.
No, I believe you. And you just made a good point. He could, if he drops 10 pounds and tightens up, he could win because the top two guys here are Bonac and Dexter, and he beat them both in Prague, and that was 6 months ago. It's not like these guys have all changed dramatically. They all look pretty much the same. So,
No.
Rolly, are you listening, Rolly? Giles knows what's up. You gotta listen to Giles every once in a while. So, moving down the line, we also have Steve Kuklo coming back. Steve was a very strong 5th place. Condition was right on. I think that's about. I had him right where he was. Maybe he could have flip-flopped with Lionel. Lionel looks just incredible. Lionel's got a Mr. Olympia physique, but has not ever. That's
Steve in this.
Go ahead.
Is Steve in this?
He is on the list. Isn't he? Yeah, he's there.
Oh,
he's
right.
in it. Yeah.
The list I've got, he's not on it.
Okay, I got it from the Arnold website, so I don't know.
Oh, fantastic.
So hopefully he's in it. Hopefully we're not inaccurate here. But this was yesterday on the Arnold Classic Australia official website. ArnoldSportsFestival.com gives you links to all the individual Arnolds. And yeah,
okay, cool.
I mean, he couldn't get any better. He peaked perfectly for Ohio. Lionel could get better. Lionel had 2 weeks if he really wanted to dig down deep and carve out those glutes and hams. It's possible, right?
No.
Damn it.
No, there's not. No. That's not condition. Why? That's not condition. That's just a lack of development in the glutes, hams, and calves. Like I said, with Biecki, from the front, he looks absolutely sensational. From the side, no issues. It's just from the back. His half down is really lacking. Like I said, it was when he was stood by himself, you don't really notice it, but when he stands next to those other top 6 guys, it's a glaring weakness. And it's what has been holding him back, and it really held him back from. I mean, he was 5th or 6th at the Arnold, but who's to say he couldn't have been 2-3 spots higher if that area had been, more. I don't think it was condition. It's to do with development. He needs more going on. Like Bonac, from his head, everything is just fully developed, and there's so much going on, and there's bits flickering, and there's a lot of detail and a lot of development, muscularity. Yeah. So for me, I thought Biecki looked sensational I thought he looked fantastic at the Arnold. I don't think he can get any better for now, not for this season, unless he improves upon those areas. But regards to Kuklo really impressed me actually at the Arnold. I was really pleased to see him with 5. Like he's one of those guys if he gets detailed, he's going to be real. He's going to be a top 6er, and he did it. And he really, my only real criticism of Kuklo is his posing.
Yeah, you said you were not impressed with his posing.
His posing routine was shit. And I mean, I know it's not judged, but it was just.
It is judged at the Arnold. It is judged.
If it's judged, then he needs to fucking put a few hours posing practice in, because he just hit a load of side tries that he just went on and didn't have a routine. I mean, I know Cedric does that, but Cedric, he's a bit of an artist. He can kind of move with it and create something on the spot. Right. But Kuklo, I would love to see him because he has got a beautiful physique. He's not just got size, but he's kind of like Cedric where he's got aesthetics as well. Yeah. So he really needs to sort of just put a bit of effort into choreographing. Go to John Brown or Sean Ray and bung him a couple of $1,000 and say, look, help me with a posing routine. Because I would love to see him do something really like Dennis Wolf or Hidetada, really powerful and, quite artistic with some good transitions. I think it would really help showcase his physique, because his physique is head top to toe. He's not lacking anything. Like I said before, he used to lack detail, but he's not lacking that anymore. Yeah. So I really want to see him present his physique at its best.
All right, Steve, listen to Giles. People that listen to Giles tend to do better. People that don't listen to Giles, they've sealed their own fate. So, yeah. I agree with you. But so Hide's in the show. Hide looked phenomenal. I thought that was the best I've seen him probably since he won the Arnold 212 a couple of years ago, for sure. Milos is doing a great job with him. Props to you, Milos. Props to you, Hide. It's a tough lineup, so I don't see him doing any better at this one, unfortunately, just because it's a strong lineup. But amazing. I love watching him. He's so graceful, such a powerful, graceful poser.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wolf also, we talked about Wolf. Obviously, he's not going to put 20 pounds more on his upper body in 2 weeks. It's to his credit that he's in perfect condition. Condition was spot on. Probably among the best. Him and this Lucas Oslato were probably the two best conditions up there. Well, Kuklo too, for the Open last a couple weeks ago in Ohio. But yeah, we'll see. And Dennis will still he's still a fan favorite. His fans are loyal. They know what he's been through, and they know what a tough road he's had coming back from that spinal injury, which, geez, most people would never even come back from that. And he's back on the stage. So we salute you, Dennis.
With Dennis, I mean, he could probably, I just want to see it for this show, he could probably come in potentially a bit fuller, which would probably fill the upper body out a bit. But I just want to see him get a decent tan, because his tan looked really messy at the Arnold, and I know he's had issues with that in the past. But,
always.
He's only had a couple of years off. You're not going right back to the start again. So if he sorts his tan out, becomes a bit fuller, he didn't disgrace himself at the Arnold. And like I said, he kind of brought what I expected. And I think people have gone a bit quiet. At least they haven't attacked him, because at least they probably appreciate what he's been through, and the fact that it took balls to come back, and it took balls to kind of choose the Arnold to come back at. I just think let's talk about this in 6 months or a year when we know either whether it's going to be permanently detrimental and he just can't rebuild and get the connection to the muscle back, whatever the nerve feeds or whatever. Let's see what I would like to. I'd be more interesting to make a judgment about his overall career then, but now I don't think it's fair, and I don't think I've not really seen or heard any criticism of how he looked compared to how he was when he was like top 3, top 5 Olympia.
Yeah.
So I just like I said, I think everyone's been quite supportive on the whole anyway.
Okay, so you were the guy who picked Kamal El-Gargni, someone I never heard of. I did not have him on my radar. I thought this guy must suck because I've never heard of him. So I'm just going to read some names off to you, because I bet if there's one of these names who's awesome, you're going to know it and you're going to tell me. Darren Okinawa, Steve Orton, Sam Pierce, Jafar, wow, give me a second, Gafnarizad Azizi, that's one person.
Jafar.
Okay. Nathan James Williamson, yeah, and that's it. Those are, I really don't recognize any of those names. Anybody there stand out in your mind is that you've come across before?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's move on. That was the Open. That's obviously...
I've heard of Steve Orton, but he's got quite a good physique.
Okay.
But, tough show.
Okay, so figure, we have top 2 coming back. Candice Lewis-Carter, who won last weekend and beat Sydney Gillian, who was, she's the reigning Olympia champion, which you don't beat the reigning Olympia champion at the Arnold too often, do you? But,
no.
Wow, they were both just... I couldn't be a judge with those two up there. I would not know what to do. They both, to me, they look similar and both just perfect, like trophies, with the cap delts, the tiny waist, the flaring thighs, just beautiful face, the hair, everything was just, yeah. So, you think you could? I thought they were close enough. I wouldn't be surprised if it does flip flop and go the other way, where Sydney Gillen wins this time. Sydney.
Yeah,
who knows?
I'd like to see. Well, I'm a massive Sydney fan. I think she's as figure, for me, she's perfection in terms of what I would want from a figure winner. Candice is absolutely amazing. I just personally have a preference for Sydney's shape. It kind of sticks out in my mind. But yeah, those two, it's like kind of like those two and everybody else. So yeah. Okay. So, but I like to see them swap back and forth anyway sometimes. So because they're both so good and they're never off. And they both seem really sweet as well. So
okay. In the fitness division in Ohio, you were hyping up this British girl. And every time you do that, I just suspect you're kind of biased towards UK people, and once in a while you really shock me, and you called it on this one. Kate Arrington was a very, very strong second to Whitney Jones. Whitney has an injury, is not going to be in Australia. So everyone else that's in this lineup that was in Ohio, like Reggiana Da Silva, Bethany Wagner, she just beat all those people. So it's pretty likely she's going to be the winner of this. Do you see that happening? Pretty sure?
I would like to. I saw her on Sunday, actually, because she was there supporting Rosie, shouting and screaming. And, I gave her a hug, and her face she looked so lean. And I saw some pictures on Instagram, and I know it's 2/3 routine, but that routine was beautiful at the Arnold. It was so classy. It was so, all the different styles of dance. It was a bit different. It was less it wasn't very gymnasty. It was more dancey. And for me, that kind of stuck in my mind. Jordan Blackman had a winning, didn't he?
Yes.
But it was. I mean, like I said, the fitness it's an exciting class. Really, it's great for the fans. But I'd love to see Kate win. I mean, she only turned pro at the Arnold last year. She won the Arnold Amateur at Columbus, so she won 13 grand as well at the Arnold's Columbus. So she's on a roll. I mean, it's just what a rise though from turning pro, and then within a year you're going into a big show as the kind of pre-contest favorite. I can't imagine how exciting that must be for her. So and she'll be going over with big Terry Holland, her boyfriend, who's probably going to fill the seat. He's probably going to be like that on the plane.
We met. You've known him for a while, I'm sure, but that was the first time I've ever seen that guy in person, standing outside the restaurant. He's got, what's he, about 6'6", you think?
I'm sure he said he was taller than that. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the strongest. Yeah, he's one of the strongest men in the world. I mean, he's placed very well at the world's strongest man. I've seen him actually at the England Strongest Man compete. I mean, and he's dieted down a lot. He's down to, what did I say? What did he say? He's down to
350.
But he was well over 400 pounds at one time. I think he was well over 400. But he said he's going to do a contest later on in the year, a bodybuilding contest. But
it's
he looks
amazing
amazing.
because to me he looks like a bodybuilder. He's got the proportions, the development. He had the shoulders, the arms, and his waist is. These guys, they don't need to be aesthetic. Clearly, they just need to win their events. So a lot of them have enormous cores, just gigantic midsections, which you would think, you're lifting up 1,000-pound logs and rocks and all this. You can't have a.
I know.
Yeah, he impressed me. He impressed me a lot.
Yeah, he's lost over 100 pounds in body fat or body weight.
Wow.
Obviously, body fat. I mean, he's lost. I think he's gone from 420 to 320.
Wow.
So. Yeah, and there's Kate, who's absolutely tiny.
Right.
She's so little. So they make a cute couple, really. So I like them both. They're nice people.
Who's tinier, her or Rosie?
Tinier, Rosie. I think Rosie's a bit shorter. Similar sort of build.
Is Rosie like 4'11" on a good day? Do you know?
She's at least 5 foot.
I think so. Okay. I mean, she's so petite. She looks smaller, so it's hard to say. But, so we'll get to the last division we're going to talk about is bikini, and the top two women from Ohio they're coming to Australia, so it's probably going to come down to them again, I'm guessing. So we have Angelica Teixeira, who is the reigning Olympia champion. She won the Arnold Ohio last year. She won the Arnold Australia last year, and Janet Leag, who Big Mike Cox, that's his favorite. So we're certainly not going to disparage Janet Leag by any means, but Angelica seems to be unstoppable in bikini right now. Do you agree?
Yeah. I'm probably the wrong person to ask on this. I had a bit of an issue with the bikini. I think it's, but that's just my own personal preference.
Right.
Teixeira, she was very good. They kind of, you could see, it's hard because I was so shocked by that kind of how they all look. But in photos, I can see why she's kind of been picked. But Leia's very good. They're beautiful girls. I mean, also another names that are probably about two other notables that I know are very good is Valeria Amarato. It's a girl from Germany, the black girl. She's absolutely. She's really good. She's really good. She always does well. And Margaret Nahr from Iceland. She made top 6. I think she got. Where did she get at the Arnold? She was top 6 at the Arnold. She's got a beautiful look, really streamlined little waist. and really, really cute. Really, yeah, she's lovely as well. So,
and, so is this Romina Basualdo. She's coming back. I mean, it's a lot of the same names from Ohio. It's like I said, I don't think I've ever seen this many people make the trip from Ohio to Australia a week or two later as I'm seeing this year. It's
why do you think that is? Do you think it's because of the Arnold split with the IFBB, and there's because obviously the Arnold Brazil, South America, all the other ones have gone to the other IFBB, and then literally now there is just these two Arnolds. Do you think maybe they got them to sign contracts when they contracted to do the Arnolds? I'd love to know how that worked out, because they really, because like I said, like you said before, when they used to have the Arnold, or I mean the Australian Pro, you'd be lucky if you got 3 big names in the open men's, and then the rest would be all kind of local guys.
right.
It were almost like guest posings for, but now this is like a proper exploded contest. This has really grown fast, and I'd love to know how they managed to entice all those competitors. Maybe now that there's only 2 Arnolds, maybe we're able to put more prize money into this one to get the names, because it's this split has worked out really well in terms of this contest.
Yeah.
Because look what they've got. I mean, like you said, we're trying to think of names that aren't doing it from the Arnold. I mean, like you said, it's pretty much the same sort of lineup as it was at Columbus. It's incredible.
Well, like I said, some of these people would have held on and done. Some of them would have skipped this and done Brazil just because they figure, well, it's an easier win or whatever. But now that the only Arnold Classics that are affiliated with Pro League are Ohio and Australia, I think they want to be part of those. Obviously, they're not going to go compete in the other ones. So, and the Arnold, like you said, Tony Doherty has got a reputation for taking good care of these people. I've talked to guys who competed, and they say, you have drivers wherever you need to go, the foods, everything's taken care of. It's worry free. It's a long plane trip. Bring a snack or something.
What about the points? Do they get extra points for doing this show in particular? Because I'm thinking if it's the prize money, because there's got to be a reason why this is absolutely this show is like probably last year's was good, the year before. It's always been a good show, but it's kind of gone like it's going to kind of then it's just gone poof, like that. So I'm guessing that there's extra ways to try and entice them, and I like the way it kind of follows on from the Arnold. For me, this feels like an Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
The other ones like the South America, you get like kind of lesser names turning up. It was just it kind of dilute for me when they had like those 6 Arnolds. For me, it was diluted, and like when the people were calling themselves Arnold Classic champions, I'm thinking, but you've won you're not, for me in my mind, you're not a real Arnold Classic champion. I'm sorry to say that.
No,
but this one feels. Yeah, but this one feels like it's got the prestige really of the Arnold Columbus. It's almost like Take Two,
Right. No, I mean, not to take anyone's accomplishments away, but like you said,
no.
Just for example, Lucas Aslato, he won, I think, the Arnold South Africa or something last year. And, he couldn't make top 6 at the Ohio show. He's not to put him down. He comes in phenomenal shape. He's a very entertaining poser, but the quality of when you bring it back to 2 shows, and I'm glad they did this. I thought having 6 of them, it really did water down the overall quality. You're not going to get the same quality competitors at 6 shows as you are as if you boil it down to 2, and especially if they're 2 weeks apart. Now it's easy for Ohio's always going to be the showcase, the first one of the season, the biggest names because it's the second biggest title after Olympia. So having the other one just 2 weeks later, it really bolstered the quality and the depth of the lineup. So
I like the way this has gone now. I think this is there's more prestige. This one gives more prestige to the Arnold and the Arnold in Columbus and vice versa. I really like the way that's gone. I like to see other shows like this well supported and well attended, because Tony, it's a labour of love. I mean, I can't imagine he was making any money from those Australian pros all those years where he was just getting a couple here and there, and a couple of names, and but imagine now it's going to really turn into like a proper business that's going to really sort of benefit him and all the kind of work that he's put in for all those years, because we saw him in the bar. Well, Christ, only last week we saw him in the bar, wasn't it? Monday night.
Yes.
And then you said, right, Giles, I'm sorry, man, I've got to go upstairs. I've got to watch Walking Dead now. So.
That's right. I had to ditch you guys. The second showing of Walking Dead was coming on. But
I was watching it as well.
But props to Tony Doherty for hanging on all those years. And you're right, it could not have been a very profitable enterprise for a while there. And hopefully hopefully things are very different now for him, and he's certainly worked hard.
Paid off.
Yeah, paid off. Persistence paid off, and all those hard work over all those years. Yeah, I wish I was going, but me going would have eaten up a huge chunk of the budget just for me to sit there and eat popcorn and watch these guys. So I did the right thing. We got great photography coming. We got we're going to have video interviews being done. We got stage videos coming. There's going to be a play-by-play. I'll be staying up all damn night Friday for the webcast, so give people some info on that a little bit later on in the week. So I wouldn't ask you to stay up. That's ridiculous. But
what's the time for me? I don't know what the time would be. I mean, sometimes it could be a decent hour, you know?
Well, we just had a time change here. It is almost 3 p.m. in the East Coast here. And it is, what, 7 p.m. for you almost? Yeah, you're 4 hours
yeah,
now?
7 p.m. Yeah.
Daylight saving time. Well, we'll talk about it. I'll definitely be doing it, though. So whoever wants to be on there and heckle me or whatever can certainly welcome. But in the meantime...
Are you happy with how our first episode went out on Saturday?
Absolutely. On the Muscle News Weekly with we call it Rosie and we call it Giles and Rosie, or we call it Tiger and Rascal. I forget.
No, Giles and Rosie, separate identity. That's our you know, we're like superheroes. We have our sort of.
Well, that's how you're going to keep the shows kind of distinct, right? Yeah. Giles and Rosie is the serious news, and then Tiger and Rascal show is all the wacky, cool backstage footage and shenanigans and all that stuff.
You know, the stress I've got for this next episode of the Tiger and Rascal Show, episode 9, is trying to squeeze all the best bits into half an hour, because I've got all that behind-the-scenes stuff from the Arnold, and then I've got all the stuff from, leading up to Rosie's show that she did. She got second last weekend. So it's going to be a real, I'm going to have to really be ruthless and try and decide what goes in. So that should be up in the next few days as well. And we're already looking forward to episode 2 of Muscle News Weekly. So we're filming that on Sunday. So you should have that maybe Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just a suggestion. I don't know how crazy this sounds, but why not do episode 9 with all the Arnold stuff, and then 10 with all the London Two Bros Pro Show and Rosie? Because
she's already started filming for episode 10. She had a photo shoot today, and we've got the stuff with Cedric coming at the end of the month. So yeah, it's just rolling now.
So you're gonna have to release like a Blu-ray with all the lost scenes or something. I don't know, all the extra footage. Yeah, because otherwise no one's ever gonna see them, right?
Yeah. She's just tapping at the door. Okay.
Rascal.
Oh, no, she's doing something in the kitchen. I don't know.
All right, man.
Kicking the.
Well, you have actually been frozen on my screen. We've been looking at an interesting profile of you like this for the whole time, but I didn't want to tell you that because it would have thrown you off. So it's okay. It's a good shot. You look like you're in deep thought listening to whatever drivel I'm coming out with. So cool, man. Giles, as always, I thank you. Thank you very much for your time and your expert opinions, and you know the British wit, the dry humor that you always bless us with. Cool, man. What do you got now? Oh, the hat. The AJ Norwegian. Is that for like reindeer hunting or something? I don't know.
Put my hat on. Your hat on.
Are you really making her do this? Yeah. Okay. We can't see it anyway, Giles.
Oh, you can't see it.
Only I can see it. They're still looking at a picture. I can tell you, they both look adorable with their hats from AJ, though. You guys are gonna have to put a picture up on your social media with those hats straight away.
Take a screenshot. Cool. Right.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this Arnold Classic Australia preview edition of the Online Report. Thanks to Giles Tiger Thomas and a special cameo you didn't see from Rosie Rascal Harper. You'll be seeing plenty of Rosie and Giles every week on Muscle News Weekly right here on MD. And, of course, on their YouTube show, the Tiger and Rascal Show. There's plenty of ways to catch more of these enticing Brits. So that's all for now. Catch all the coverage of the Arnold Classic Australia right here on MD this weekend. And thanks for watching.